is YouTube? It's your boy Grizz here with a Grizz exclusive today. Here with my boy. We back again. My boy Hanson. What you play at the Shreveport Regionals this weekend?
Fluffles.
And what you get?
I got 11th place.
11th.
Sadly, not 8th, but
Hey.
got my invite, I guess, with Fluffles.
Hey, people, we got the ears to the streets, and the people want to hear what's going on. So we're gonna get straight into the deck profile and combos or whatever you want to do. So,
Well, play 3 dog. He's your searcher, your Deneb, Roto, whatever you want to call him. He's mandatory anytime he's normaled or specialed from hand. There's an interesting combo with him and Sheep I'll show you later. 3 Fluffle Sheep. It can spec itself from hand whenever there's another Fluffle on field, and you can bounce another Fluffle on field other than himself to special summon an edge imp from hand or grave. He leads up into massive combos. They're just ridiculous altogether. 3 Mouse. Mouse's effect says when he's on the field, you can special summon 2 other mouse from deck. Only from deck, not from deck or hand. Kind of made me feel bad because in one duel I opened up with 3 mouse and I was like, how do I come back from this? But I still like him regardless. He sets up into combos with
that Tengu sadness is what that is.
Right? 2 Fluffle Bear.
Hey.
I use him for no reason other than to search out for Toy Vendor because people think that Toy Vendor is an card. It can be good and bad. Toy Vendor is amazing. That card gives you so many pluses. It's stupid. You just gotta play it right. Fluffle Owl. Honestly, very rarely ever use Owl or want to use him. I only have him in here for the fact that he can be searched out. So you can have a searcher for a poly with dog. And
So,
yeah, that's pretty much all he is there for.
So it goes into like the whole Necros play there. James got a little diversity to it.
3 Edge Imp Sabers.
Why 3?
3 because that's what makes Tiger and that's what makes Wolf, and that's the OTK for the deck. All the Fright for monsters except for Fright for Bear require a specific Edge Imp and any Fluffle monster. It doesn't matter which one it is, but they do require a specific Edge Imp. I've seen myself a lot of the time where I banish them with the Miracle Fusion for Fluffles, so I have no way to get them back, and then if the game goes longer than I would like it to, I kind of have to get another play.
Okay.
3 Edge Imp Chain. Now I'm going to tell you why I run 3 of this
3
boy.
chain.
Because he is the best Edge Imp of all of them. If he's sent from hand or deck to graveyard, you can add any Fright for spell or trap from your deck to your hand. The Miracle Fusion for the deck is called Fright for Fusion, so he's a searcher for your Miracle Fusion. You can go Toy Vendor, discard Edge Imp Chain from hand, and then you can add a Fright for Fusion from your deck to your hand, no matter what you mill with Toy Vendor. His other effect says when he attacks, he can add another copy of him to his hand, so yeah, he's...
So the ad game crazy right now.
Exactly. Edge Imp Tomahawk. He's not really needed in the deck. This was someone that I was never disappointed to see him, but I was never happy to see him either. It was just, he was there. He's an 18 beater, and he can dump monsters from my deck. I usually just use him to search out my Edge Imp Sabers. I'll dump them into the grave. He becomes an Edge Imp for the turn, and then they're in grave. He also has a handy effect. I used him one duel to win, where he can dump an Edge Imp monster from your hand to inflict 800 points of damage.
So he got the cowboy and the little Volvo chain going on.
Yep. Edge Imp Saw. I cut this down to 2 just before the regionals. No, to 1. I had it at 2, sorry. His normal summon effect is good, but I rely too hard on normal summoning dog with this deck. I don't like wasting my normal summon on Edge Imp Saw. The only reason I use him is because, like I said before, the fusion monsters require specific Edge Imps, and the Volcasaurus for the deck requires Edge Imp Saw. Very rarely need to summon him, but there are cases where I do. He's also the strongest one of the Fright for monsters right now, so.
Okay.
3 Dark Fusion.
Oh, freaky.
Yeah, this was a personal tech that I liked when the deck first came out. People think the Dark Fusion is only for evil heroes, but it's actually for any Dark Fiend. The plus side to using Dark Fusion rather than Poly, you're probably wondering why use that when you have all the support for Poly to get Poly back. I'm not going to lie, it's hard to get to, but when you do, it sets your play off completely. The monster you summon with it cannot be targeted for spells, traps, or monster effects. So no Veiler, no Fiendish, no Breakthrough, anything like that. I use it to make Tiger with, so that way when my bomb hits, there's no negating it. If you want to torrential him, bottomless him, that's fine. I don't care if he dies. I just want to make sure your field guy's with him. 3 Frightful fusions. It's the Miracle fusion for the deck. Why not play them? The main play that I go for is I do Dark Fusion. I make Tiger with a lot of material from hand or field. Blow the field up, then I go Frightful fusion, make Wolf, attack, you have no field, you lose. Toy Vendor. This card I was talking about earlier. You can discard bear from your hand to search for it. So if you get a dog, you can instantly have a Toy Vendor if you want. Dog, search for bear, discard bear, set Toy Vendor face down from your deck. Its effect says you can discard 1 card from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If the top card, or I'm sorry, draw the top card of your deck, not reveal. Draw a card from your deck, reveal it. If it's a Fluffle monster, then you can spec any monster from your hand. If it's not a Fluffle monster, you discard it. Other effect of it says when it's sent to the graveyard from anywhere, you can add a Fluffle monster or an Edgent monster from your deck to your hand. Or Edgent Sabers specifically, sorry. It's cool because if you have 2 Toy Vendors in hand, you can activate Toy Vendor, discard Toy Vendor. That way you can get a search off of it plus your draw. You discard Edgent Chain, you're going to get your Frightful fusion, so on and so forth. The deck all just coincides with each other. It's really consistent. 1 card searches for another, and they all just work together.
And some staples. No need.
Staple Darkles, MSTs, Poly, Regeki.
Bring the Regeki into the frame a little bit. There we go.
Right there.
Yeah.
3 Fusion Reserves. I honestly did not want to play Poly in the deck at all. The only reason I put it in was because of Owl/Fusion Reserves. I had too many cases where I could have added Poly, and I didn't have a Poly to add, so I was like, I'm just going to throw it in. This feels like a waste. Fusion Reserves are very necessary. They're your Rhoda for your deck, whereas Dog's your Deneb. They search out any of the Edgemps you need. Now, sadly, because of what I told you earlier with the Frightful fusion materials, you can't search out Fluffle monsters with it other than Bear. You can search Bear out and get Toy Vendor, because Frightful Bear requires Fluffle Bear, but otherwise, it's just I search for Edgent Chain, I discard it with Toy Vendor, and I get my pluses.
Gotcha.
2 Designer Frightful. I'm honestly probably going to take these out of the deck. I did not like them in there in regionals. I very rarely ever used them. One play I used it for was when I attacked into my opponent's life points directly with my Wolf when I had Tiger on board. My opponent dropped a Gorz and a Gorz token. I'm like, now that Gorz token's the same as my Wolf. I activated this to bring back another Fluffle monster, and my Wolf got a boost because there was another Fluffle monster on the field from Tiger. So I was able to get over the token. That's the only time it really came in handy. I first side out every match, and that was the main deck.
Okay. We'll get into the side and the extra before we. This video is kind of long, so we'll probably do a combo video later. But we'll get into the side and the extra, and then we'll go through what you want to change about the deck, if anything.
Okay. So starting off with the extra deck.
Come on this way. Still out of frame. There we go.
3 Fright for Tigers. Tiger's your bomb for the deck. His effect says that each of your Frightfur monsters on the field gain 300 attack points for each Frightfur and Fluffle on the field, and both of those include him. They gain the boost for Tiger, and Tiger even gains the boost for himself. Other effect, obviously the main one he's used for, is once he hits the field, for each fusion material monster used to make him, he can destroy 1 card on the field.
So he's the junk destroyer of the deck. Okay.
Yep.
Card that should have come in Ultimate Red.
Right? I'm so upset because this card has no foil. It better come foil in a Master Pack. So, Frightful Wolf says he's allowed to attack once for each fusion material you use to make him. Him and Frightful Tiger, as you can see, both require any number of fusion materials. They work together with Dark Fusion and Frightful Fusion, like I said earlier. The OTK, I drop Frightful Tiger, blow up, Wolf, attack directly. Frightful Sheep. People looked at this, laughed, and didn't know what it did. I love this card so much.
Alas.
It's an Armades, and if it's destroyed once per turn, it comes back with a permanent 800 boost.
Nasty.
That's
nasty
it,
little
right?
Deck. These cards are worth like 15-20 cents minus the Tiger.
Exactly.
Cheap deck. Anybody can pretty much build it.
Fright for Leo. Never really had to summon him much, 1 or 2 times, because he's the 2400 attack point monster. He gets over things like Unicorn if I see him, because I do not like seeing Unicorn in this deck. He gets over him 2400. He's a Volcasaurus for other plays. He helps you inflict the last bit of damage. That's all I really know to say about him. Fright for Bear.
Brr.
I use him for no reason other than to have a fusion monster to reveal with fusion reserve so that I can get Fluffle Bear. The only thing he did for me all tournament. I never summoned him once. I had space in the extra deck. Why not throw him in?
What does he even do? I don't even remember. I used to have the card. He came in all the pretty
His
rarities.
effect says if he destroys a monster by battle, then you can equip the monster to him, and he gains attack points. I think he gains 1,000. Yeah, he gains 1,000 attack points for each monster equipped.
It's kind of useful against like Teller Knights. But...
Yeah, it's pretty good. Frightful Chimera. Again, never summoned him once. I threw him in there just in case the game got so long that I had fusions galore in my graveyard, because he takes 3 Frightful fusions to make him. He has a decent effect. He destroys a monster at battle. It's also equipped, and I believe he gains 600 for each one. No, 300 for each one. He has the same effect as Sheep, where when he attacks, they can't activate anything in response.
Cool.
And that's the whole extra deck.
Alright, we're getting to this side deck.
Side deck.
It has some techie stuff in here, so you might have to find a few cards.
Fusion weapon.
Ooh, Towers out.
Exactly. I threw it in there for no reason other than towers, because even when I have wolf and tiger on board, the strongest my wolf can be is 35 before the tower reduction of 500 points. There's no point in getting him at 3,000 kamikazeing with tower, because then I don't get the other attacks out of him. So I throw fusion weapons in when I play against Cleaports. Chaos Trap Holes. I feel like it's a generic card. There's a lot of cards that I don't want to see. I don't like playing against Necroz, so I use this against Manju and Senju. Denko if need be. Denko's not a big problem though. Satellar Knights, I do not like seeing Diamond. Diamond is like the main card I don't want to see. He can negate Dark Monsters effects, and all the Fright for fusions are Dark Monsters. The only out I have the Diamond is my fusions, so I have to throw that in against him.
So you chose Chaos Trap Hole over Blackhorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Chaos Trap Hole more because when I go against Burning Abyss, stuff of that sort, it banishes the monster.
Gotcha.
Stygian Dirge, again, Diamond. It slows down tellers. They can't overlay for things. It makes it harder to do things.
Gotcha.
3 Fairy Winds. I like this card a lot as a sideboard option because it blows up their sideboard cards, and on top of that, the only continuous spell that I actually mainboard is Toy Vendor. And as I said earlier, my Toy Vendor gets a plus from being blown up, so it helps me and hurts them at the same time.
Okay. Took a little bit of flavor from Mama Dolce Bills of the past.
Light Imprisoning Mirrors. Satellars, Diamond. All I really know to say. That pretty much ends at that point. Breakthrough skills. As I said earlier with Necroz, it helps against Unicorn. It can be milled from Toy Vendor, which helps a lot. So even if it gets milled, I can still use its effect from Grave, give me 1 turn to get around Unicorn, and drop my Tiger to destroy it if possible.
Alright. How'd those work out for you?
The breakthrough skills, I actually never played Necroz at that regionals. The only Necroz people that were there got knocked down very early. Necroz seems like it's starting to lose its thing because they were all 2-2.
So people are finally adjusting to the adjustments. Okay.
Yeah, apparently. That's the 2-2 table was full of Necroz. The 2-2 loss table.
Gotcha. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to ask you, and then we're going to cut this one short. I may come back with you for an exclusive combo video only going to be found on GRIZZ TV. Maybe some other channels afterwards. But I'm going to ask you, what would you change? If you could go back tonight, right now, start the regional over, what cards would you have changed?
The only thing really would be Designer Friper. I probably would have mainboarded Breakthrough Skills instead of these.
Okay. Alright, my boy Hanson. We got the profile. You see it here. GRIZZ TV. Only live. No DN. Alright. It's your boy GRIZZ signing out.